Welcome back to another episode of Off the Bench. Of course, I'm DeMarcus, and as you can see, I got my main man, Ant, with me again.
Appreciate it.
Ant, welcome back. Thank you for being on the show again.
Thanks for inviting me, man.
Yeah, man. How's your day been going? How's your week been going? How's work been going for you?
It's steady, so no complaints there.
Okay.
Glad to get another week under the belt. And
so, hey, man, I want to ask you a question before we get started. And if everybody that's watching, like, so if you're watching on Facebook, make sure you follow us on Facebook, like the page, share the page.
That's right.
If you watch us on YouTube right now, make sure you subscribe, click that like button, that notification button, so you can be ready for the new episodes. But, so me and Ty, we've been talking.
Okay.
You've been on the show a couple times now. You've been doing pretty good.
All right.
John likes you. Right, John? John likes you.
John gets paid to like me.
John likes you. Now, he do get paid, but it's okay. But I want to know, can the fans and can the people look forward to seeing you on here with me and Ty? Yeah, I got
he is putting me on the spot live on the spot.
You know, a little hat trick for people. Man.
Hat trick. Do people even like that I'm on here?
I think so.
You think so?
Yeah.
I mean, if the fans want it.
All right, I like that. I like that.
I don't have a problem with it.
Okay, all right.
I enjoy it.
I know you sometimes you give me a little hard time about being on here, man, but I really enjoy you being on here. You got some good insight. And like you say, you know sports.
I got a persona to keep, okay? I made it easy for everyone. Nobody would enjoy that.
I think what John told me, John said, yeah, if Anthony not giving you a hard time, that means he don't like you.
That's right.
If he give you a hard time, that's because he actually enjoy your presence.
That's right.
Okay, well, I'm in good company then. Okay.
You are.
All right. So let's get right into these topics, man. I got a couple topics leading off that I think is going to be real good to get into.
All right.
First one we're going to get into is Dillon Brooks. Okay.
Let's do it.
So, they played the Lakers. They lost.
They did.
They lost by 40. Lost by 40 in Game 6.
He got his 40 piece, yeah.
He came out, he said that, I don't respect nobody unless they give me 40. So they got 40 as a team. Not only did he, trash talk with LeBron, and of course, he didn't play well after that, but then he also got told by Memphis that he ain't getting brought back.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
I read that.
You read that too? All right. So this first topic I put Dillon Brooks versus LeBron versus Memphis and versus the NBA. All right. And the reason why I did that is because when it comes to the NBA, do you feel like he's kind of being blackballed by the NBA for what he did?
Yeah, I mean, he's just trash talking. Mm-hmm. I mean, okay, yeah, he said it to LeBron, and he got his words put back in his mouth.
Yeah, which is part of sports. It's basketball. It happens.
Yeah, I mean, I've trash talked and ate my words.
Yeah, it happens. Something not every year, not every day is going to be your day, and it's not going to be your year and your game. But like I said, I don't understand all the backlash that he's receiving for doing something that happens every single basketball game.
The problem is, I think
even the guys on the bench that don't even take off their warm-ups are trash talking to the guys that's on the court.
My fear is I wonder if this is just a character flaw of his. Because you remember there's a viral video going around, or at least maybe it's not viral, but I've seen a video going around about when he played Duke at Oregon in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
With like 9 seconds left, they're up by 10. They're obviously winning the game.
Yeah.
They're pushing the clock out. He shoots a three from almost half court.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Everybody who plays basketball knows that's a no-no.
Yeah, you just, out of respect for your opponent, you don't show them up by doing something like that at the end of the game.
Right.
The same thing, like, if you're winning and you're supposed to run a clock out, you run and dunk the ball.
Right.
It's just you have a respect for your opponent because your opponent is bowing out, knowing I'm taking my
unwritten
L,
laws,
but it's one of the unwritten rules that you just don't do. And I agree with you. So he's had this type of character in him since college. Yeah. So like for him to come out and say, I wasn't really surprised him saying what he said about LeBron, but I don't understand why people just like have been coming at him so hard with what he's done when it comes to that. Now I will say this, and I told a lot of people, just keeping it purely basketball outside of his character, the man production hasn't been very well these last couple of years. He's gotten more minutes and production has gone down. So I see from Memphis where they're like, okay, you're not producing for us like we need you to.
Right.
But I also feel like Memphis is trying to use him as a scapegoat to say, well, with everything that you brought to us, we lost the series. He wasn't the main reason why he lost the series. He wasn't the main reason.
No, there's too many distractions in that camp.
Exactly. Like I said, what everybody need to really look at is when Ja Morant came back, the team started playing different.
Yeah.
When he came back from his hiatus, from the whole thing in the club and all that, when he came back, the energy of the team was just different. So it's not all. So I think for Dillon Brooks, he was trying to bring some type of spark to the team by at least trying to talk trash and get into somebody's head, whether it be LeBron or whoever is on the team, get in their head to try to boost his team morale. Yeah. But it just didn't work in their favor.
No.
Because I didn't appreciate, seeing them losing by 40 and John Morant's laughing on the bench. That's one thing to me as a competitor. If you really, see your team getting beat like that, it's not a laughing matter, especially a closeout game. Now, if this was like, game one, okay, because you got more games. It's the last game of the season for y'all. Yeah, to me, it's just not a laughing matter, especially with everything that's been going on in this series behind Dillon and all that stuff too.
Now, if you're going to blame somebody for the Memphis early exit, you got to blame Ja. Because his distraction throughout the season absolutely put a hiccup in the entire.
Yeah, especially coming out when you say, I'm not worried about nobody in the West. It's just like, and then you get to this point where you got to now, shut up or put up or shut up, and then y'all have a first round exit like you did. Yeah. It just makes, like I say, it just makes it hard for people to take y'all serious in the West.
Yeah, you can't win a championship by yourself.
No, and not at all. That's why I say you do need to have some star players, of course,
at least one
or two, but then you got to have these other supporting casts that can give you everything else that's necessary to win a championship. Yeah. Like you say, look at Golden State. They got 2 great players, and then they got a bunch of serviceable players. So that's why I think. But with what's going on with Dillon, it kind of it's confusing to me, just because, like I say, to come out this early before the season even over and say you're not going to sign him back. So now my thing is, where does he go from here?
I mean, I think he's NBA talent.
Yeah.
So just go somewhere and play your role. Like, don't try and do something you're not.
Yeah.
Don't ask the team to build around you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just go hustle.
He got to go to the next team and just, like I said, be that service guy. Where it's like, hey, I'm gonna be tough. Got to be kind of like Jay Crowder.
Yeah.
PJ Tucker. I'm gonna be tough, and I'm gonna ruffle up the team's best player. Yeah. But that's all I'm gonna do.
Yeah. Play inside your lane.
Don't look at me to score 20 points a game. Don't look at me to be interviewed by I don't need to do all that. I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna do the dirty work, and you glorify whoever else on the team y'all want to. But that's all I need to do, and that's what to keep him in the NBA. Because, like I said, I would hate for him. Like I say, as much as I, might talk about a player's, production and all that on the team, I don't want to see nobody lose their job over some as trash talking or as some as losing in the playoffs when y'all should have been a better team that won. It just happens. It's not every year is not going to be your year. Yeah. So, but I don't want him to not be in the league. Definitely from this. All right, moving on. So MVP was picked.
Yeah. Not surprised by it.
Embiid, I mean, he won by a landslide.
That I'm a little surprised by.
I thought it was going to be closer with him and Joker, but him winning, I'm not surprised. He definitely deserved it. Mm-hmm. I hate that when he won, of course, lost, at home when he got his trophy. Yeah. So that sucks.
Yeah.
But it definitely was not surprised by it. I think he definitely deserved it because, like you say, as you can see on Philly, he is Philly.
Oh, yeah.
Without him, they're not in the position they're in.
No.
And then I saw another award, man. Like, I'm starting to think they're just making up awards now.
We talked about this, didn't we?
Did you see who they gave the most? They gave him the most hustle award of the year.
No, I didn't see that one.
Marcus Smart.
Really?
Yes, they gave him the hustle award of the year.
I mean, not surprised by that either, but I mean,
like,
what are we doing? Who had the best shoe design of the year?
I don't know. I feel like they just, like I said, they're just trying to come out with different things, I guess, to just bring more attention to the game and more attention to certain players versus just the main guys that everybody always talk about. But I'm with you.
They need to stop worrying about that and worry about the All-Star game and things like that.
Yeah, they got to do something with that. I think the NFL realized, okay, the Pro Bowl's dead. We can't do that no more.
They took a big step forward.
Yeah, we can't do it no more.
I don't know what basketball's
NBA,
doing.
you got to figure somebody. Because even like the celebrity game is, because like this past celebrity game, they had people that I never even knew who they were.
I didn't watch it.
Yeah. Nobody, like, and even like the attendance for it wasn't high.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't want to watch a game where you score 160 points and you don't play a game until 3 minutes left.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
it's just, for me, that's as a competitive and a fan, that's not what I want to watch.
I said this, and I've been saying it for a long time. The dunk contest, get these guys off YouTube.
Big facts.
Get these guys off YouTube. Let them. Now, if you want to say, okay, hey, LeBron, Giannis, KD, y'all are, top vote getters for All-Star. Pick one of these guys to represent.
So I'm gonna give you maybe an unwanted opinion or whatever. We want to Blake Griffin's dunk over Ikea.
Yeah.
When the song was singing it got tens.
And he jumped over the hood.
Stop.
He jumped over the hood. He didn't jump over the roof of the car, but it's okay. I mean, still to jump over a car, that's impressive.
The car was still underneath the hood.
You're right. You're right. It was
in my opinion. You look at prior, like Michael Jordan's age, or even these street dunkers that are doing like
they're doing crazy stuff.
Come on now,
they're doing crazy stuff.
Yeah,
they're doing like
one dude's almost doing under the leg twice.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, there's a dude named I can't remember his last name, but I think his first name's Clark. He's literally jumping like dead jump and doing an East Bay just off a dead jump. Like, to me, it's just that the athleticism is impressive. So I'd rather see that. Right. The creativity, the athleticism is just as good as these NBA players. I don't know if guys are just afraid to get hurt in the dunk contest or what it is, but they need to get guys in there that's going to put on a show for the fans.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to All-Star break, the All-Star game, they got to figure out something with the All-Star game.
Yeah.
They got to make it mean something more than what it is. Because like you say, to play 48 minutes and literally the last 3 minutes of the game you're playing, it just doesn't make sense.
But home field.
Yeah, because I want to say this last All-Star game, we're watching these guys just come across half court and just chuck threes up.
That's what baseball did.
Yep.
They said, hey, you win the All-Star game, you get the World Series home field advantage.
So now you're competing for something.
Yeah.
Now okay, so if the West wins, okay, whoever comes out the West, you get home field, you get home court.
It could spark it. I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? But they got to figure out something because I'm not really liking what they're doing with their All-Star break, and it needs to change something. All right, so let's talk about. I've saw a couple firings of coaches here recently.
Yeah.
So the Raptors fired their coach.
Yeah. And
then the Bucks just fired their coach, which I didn't see that coming out. That came out of nowhere for me. Like, the man had won over 70% of his games. Yeah, you're 2 years removed from winning the championship. This year, Giannis got hurt, so you didn't have your best player. I don't understand what they want him to do.
I guess.
Maybe
he didn't motivate him enough. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know what more could he have done with the team that he had. Chris Middleton wasn't healthy. He didn't get healthy to the end of the year. And then Giannis being in and out. And, I don't know what else they want him to do. I get it. Some of these teams, I really feel like they win one, and then now they can't accept not winning every year.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Raptors.
Crazy.
Raptors, the last 2 coaches they fired was coaches of the year.
Yeah.
Literally coach of the year prior to that, and you're firing them the next year. They have 2 of them.
Yep.
So I'm just like, what do you want of these guys?
In fact, didn't they just fire the last 3? Or was it there? I thought they said fired the last 3 NBA championship head coaches.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What?
That's I don't get that. And I'm trying to figure out what's the motivation behind that. If you're making the playoffs, you're competing for a championship, because to me, you make the playoffs, that means you compete for a championship. Teams that don't make the playoffs, you just out there.
Right.
Detroit Pistons, you're just out there. Charlotte Hornets, you're just out there. But if you're actually, I don't care if it's play-in or you actually made the top 6, you're in the playoffs, so you're having a chance to compete for a championship.
Yep.
And you got to look at the personnel that you've put on the floor for your coach. If you ain't putting nobody out there, then what do you expect him to do? He only can do so much. He ain't playing.
It doesn't make sense.
So I don't get the whole firing of either one of those coaches. I don't get it. It just threw me off when I saw that. And I'm just trying to figure out, okay, so now, you just fired, you had the best record with the Bucks, best record in the NBA. So you just fired your coach. Who do you bring in that's going to be better than him? Where do you find him at? Is he on the bench already, or do you try to go out and grab a coach from another team? which is
if
they're already on a good team, they're not going to leave their team because they're already in a good spot. So I just didn't understand the whole firing, and it really blew me away that they did that.
Yeah, I don't agree with it either.
Yeah. So now, like we was talking about Bucks loss, and Giannis had a viral video of him in the post-game conference where he was talking about winning a chip because one of the reporters asked him, was this year a failure?
Yeah.
So I wanted to pose that question to you. If a team doesn't win the chip, does that mean that year was a failure?
Yeah. Really? What? I mean, it depends. Boston, absolute failure. Like the Boston Bruins, how we were talking about last week. Absolute failure. You lost in the first round, had the great, like the Warriors when they lost. I think those are failures because you just had the Patriots, undefeated team.
So are you basing it up more on the record of the team?
Yeah, I think if your team is solid, I don't think not winning. I don't think it's a. No, I don't think it's a. Whatever it is, right? AI words lost right now. I don't think it's a failure of a season.
Yeah,
I think it's disappointing.
Yeah,
because obviously that's the goal.
That's why I was going with it. Because like Giannis even said, there's steps to success.
Yeah,
and every year you're building, towards putting a team together, riding momentum, being healthy at the right times, and being positioned at the right times to have an opportunity to win. Because I just don't believe if a team don't win or a player doesn't win, that means he had a failure of a year. It's just that there's still more building needs to be done. There's still more growth that needs to happen.
Yeah.
So I do think disappointment, to me, that's what came to my mind was it's disappointing what happened to the Bruins. It's disappointing what happened to Milwaukee because yes, you were the likely favorite coming into those moments, but to not win, I don't think it's a failure because like he even said, Michael Jordan didn't win every year.
No.
But he still looked at as one of the greatest players ever to a lot of different people. Some people say LeBron, some people say Michael.
Yep.
But he didn't win every year. He won 6 out of 15.
Yeah.
So those other 9, 10 years, almost 10 years, he
all failures.
No, he still individually he still was successful. Just as a team, he wasn't.
Right.
So I think guys can not win a championship, not even make the playoffs sometimes, and still have a good year. Because maybe y'all won 10 more games than you did last year. To me, that's an improvement.
Yeah.
So that's something to that's something to build off of and look forward to. Or maybe you win the draft and now you got better players. Or free agency, you sign a big that you was looking for. So, but I do understand why a lot of times media kind of focuses on, oh, you failed this year because you didn't do what everybody was hoping you would do.
Yeah. I mean, they got to talk about it, but I don't consider it a failure.
Yeah.
I think it was just a loss of focus.
Yep.
And it happens.
Yeah, and it happens. It happens. I mean, like you said, look at the Bruins. Bruins was just whooping everybody's butt, and they didn't focus at the right time.
Right.
And them 4 games, and you only get 4 games. So that's it. All right, so let's stay in the NBA. Let's talk about playoff Jimmy, man. Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, he was a different
so
kind of beast.
we talked about this last week about him just being overlooked and just being a beast in the playoffs, right?
Yep.
So I want to pose this to you. Playoff Jimmy, how he is. Is there anybody right now in the NBA you would rather have than him in the playoffs?
Well, I mean, yeah, I think there might be some players that would be better than him, but like right now what he's doing is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I think there's individual players that are just obviously better. I mean,
they just can carry the torch.
Like I'm still going to take Steph Curry over every day.
I say Steph Curry is my number 1, then Jimmy's 2 for me.
Yeah. But I mean, you can't take away what he's doing with a team that shouldn't be doing.
Be doing it. Absolutely.
He is literally.
And that's why I put him up there because he's doing this with teams that don't have lethal shooting. Like I like Bam, and I think Bam's a servable, big, but he's not an Anthony Davis. No. He's not a Giannis. He's not one of them guys that literally gets his own shot. Yeah. He got to get his shot from somebody else creating for him. So, but like you said, to have a team like he has in Miami, and to be literally 2 games away from making it to the conference finals again. Mm-hmm. And he's been hurt with ankle and other stuff. And they, Kyle Lowry been hurt. Tyler Hero's gone for the year.
Yep.
Duncan Robinson come off the bench after he ain't played in 50 games and still been able to knock down shots. So what he's doing to me is MVP level. He's carrying a team to potentially play for a championship. And like I said, I just can't. It's hard to overlook him and not pick him. Like I said, Steph Curry, he's just a tad bit over him when it comes to what he's doing in the playoffs. Yeah. But playoff Jimmy, like I said, there's nothing better to watch. Nothing better to watch right now in the playoffs.
Now when you're talking about him potentially bringing his team to as a 8 seed?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Basically a play-in team who's the only play-in team left to be talking about making it to the conference final in 2 more games.
Yeah.
That's just, to me, that's incredible. And then and because of how he been playing, I'm not shocked if he get there, he beat your Boston Celtics.
I wouldn't be surprised either. I'd be disappointed, but I ain't going to beat that. That's
why I said that.
That's going to be a solid series.
That's why I said that's going to be solid. So we know how dominant Jimmy has been, and we've seen players over the history be dominant just like him on other teams. Who would you say, if you had to pick one guy, would be the most dominant player you've ever seen play basketball?
To score at his will?
Yeah.
Got to be Shaq.
Yeah, that's what I went with.
God. Yeah, he's the
There was no, like I say, there was other guys I kind of thought like Kareem, of course, Michael, Kobe, LeBron.
I mean, they're great players.
Larry Bird. Yeah, they dominated to an extent, but like I said, just sheer domination to where it's like, bro, there was nothing you could do. And he was so big, athletic, quick.
Yeah, if you gave the ball to Shaq in the paint,
didn't
matter who was behind him. He was getting dunked on.
Yeah, every single time. And I mean,
did not matter.
Now they say, and he couldn't make free throws, save his life, but man,
like a Shaq.
Yeah, but at the same time, when it comes to his impact on the defensive end and on the offensive end, best I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
And at a size that you shouldn't be able to do that at that size.
That's what I'm saying. He
7 foot
huge.
tall. I think at one point Shaq got up like 365. You know, his heaviest weight he ever. Well, I think he got it like 380 one time because I think with Cleveland he was real heavy then, but he was older. But in his prime time, he's like solid 340, 350.
Yeah,
and can run up and down the floor with everybody. Especially when he was in Orlando.
It looked like a softball that plays basketball in the sand.
And I told him breaking rims, and they had to redo backboards and redo all this stuff because of him. Just lets you know how dominant he really was.
Yeah, unless you're going all the way back to what's his name, who scored 100 points in the game.
Yeah, to my Wilt Chamberlain.
That's
he dominated too, but still, even then, I'm like, okay,
I think that was a different.
You dominated in a league that didn't have nobody to match your size besides Bill Russell. Nobody was able to match your size. Shaq did it when it was size. There was a lot of size from the early 90s all the way to the 2000s when he played. There was a lot of size he had to go through, and he was able to outmatch all of them. Yeah, even in his older years. So that's why I say I think
it'll look easy too.
Yeah, I agree with you. Hey man, I got a question about charging in basketball. Do you like charging? Taking charges, or do you like the whole aspect of charges? What do you think about that?
I think charging allows people to keep what they're doing in a controlled situation. Mm-hmm. So yes, I do like. I mean, when I played, that was my goal, was to get a charge.
Okay.
The problem is a lot of times now where people are flopping or they're going out of control, and so I think I forget who it was. Was it LeBron the other day?
It was in the Memphis series. John Morant came to the hole and LeBron tried to take a charge, and literally John Morant got taken out the air and just fell to the ground because he was trying to go for a dunk. And he ended up.
That was offensive, right?
Yeah, it was offensive. They call it a charge.
And I'm okay with, because again, what that charge is doing is telling John Morant, hey, we're not just going to give it to you because you're going to just jump and
come in here. Yeah.
Have some control. Show me that you are going for a basket, not just drawing a foul.
Gotcha.
That's the way I look at it.
I agree with you to an extent of what you're saying. The one part about it, the reason why I kind of have an issue with charges, some of the guys are taking charges to just take you out the air.
Well, yeah, that's dirty playing.
You know what I'm saying? Some guys are doing that just to try to take you out the air. Somebody like a LeBron or some of these other players, they're saying, hey, man, we're just telling you that you're just not going to have free lanes to baskets. But other players, I feel like they're literally trying to take these guys out. And that's what I don't like, because a lot of times the NBA are rewarding these guys for these spots that clearly they're under the basket, or clearly they're moving up under him as he's going up in the air.
Yeah.
Like if you're there when he go, like I said, if you're already there waiting on him and he go take flight, okay, that's a basketball play to me. But when you see him taking flight and then you're running up under him to try to draw a charge, that's dangerous play, which I don't appreciate. And I think the NBA has really had an issue with calling those fouls right in those moments. So that's why I wouldn't say when I saw this topic, I wouldn't say it need to be completely taken out the game. I just think it needs to be refereed a little more serious than what it is. Differently. Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, obviously you don't want any player hurt.
Yeah. And you don't want guys just feeling like, okay, I'm doing a basketball play, so what's wrong with that?
Yeah.
Because it's the same thing like tripping and all the other stuff. Like all that stuff dangerous because you can get people hurt.
Yeah.
So that's why I say they just got to referee it a little bit different, like you said. All right, so we were just talking about Steph Curry being a dominant, player in playoffs, right?
Okay.
Would you say Steph Curry is the greatest point guard you've ever seen?
Greatest shooter.
Why not greatest point guard?
When I look at point guard, I don't just look. I mean, so with Steph Curry, it shoots lights out. But when it comes to like assisting and all the other aspects, I have a hard time, especially old school.
You have a hard time giving him that?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I mean, there's different aspects. I mean, you got to look at John Stockton.
Mm-hmm. He's like the prototypical point guard. Yeah.
In my opinion, yeah. Like that's
him. Chris Paul, those guys like that.
Yeah. So it's hard for me to, because of the position he's in as a point guard.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you say no? Yeah. But I would put him in a greatest shooter range before I put him in probably the greatest point guard.
Okay.
Because again, I'm old school, so I'm thinking John Stockton and stuff like that.
I got you. Me personally, I think he's one of the best guards to ever play just because of...
There you go. You changed it up.
Yeah. So like
guard,
I said,
not point guard.
I think he's one of the best guards to ever play because I will agree with you. Yeah. When it comes to point guard, you think first thing you think about is sharing the ball, really getting more of your teammates involved more than you actually scoring the ball.
Yeah.
You score the ball in moments, but then your main objective is to make sure that your second best player or your third best player are getting the touches they need more than yourself. So it's being more selfless than selfish.
Yeah.
But I will say the reason why I also put him in one of the best ever is because his impact of the game, how he's changed the game when it comes to shooting. He is the greatest shooter ever played the game. That's for sure. But like I say, point guard, I think that's a discussion that can be made. Is he really a point guard? Is he a traditional style point guard? Even like Isaiah Thomas. He was a point guard, but he wasn't traditional. He was more of a scoring guard. Then he was an assist guard.
Yeah.
Tim Hardaway, Anthony Hardaway, Penny Hardaway. All those guys was point guards, but they focus more on the offensive side more than the actual.
He should just switch to a shooting guard, and then we don't have this.
They don't have the conversation. Exactly.
Yeah, sure. He's number one.
So just to I had some other little, piggyback questions.
Okay.
So we talked about the point guard. Do you think, based off his shooting, his ability, and how he scores, and the volume he scores at, can you see him passing LeBron for the all-time scoring list?
No.
You don't think he'll get up to LeBron?
He'd have to play a long time.
Because he's still. If you look at how he's playing, and you look at his age, he can probably play another 6-7 years.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think he will. He'll probably be in the top 5.
You think he'll be top 5 scorer?
But I don't think he'll
catch LeBron.
No, I don't think he'll catch LeBron. I don't think he's gonna. Hot take, but okay. I don't think so.
All right. Do you think he's one of the greatest winners of all time?
Yeah, I can put him in that category.
Because I pulled up a stat. He's won 85% of playoff games that he's been in.
Yeah, he's only lost one or two championships. Mm-hmm. I know one to LeBron, probably both to LeBron. Honestly,
he lost one. He lost the one with Cleveland, and then he lost the one against Toronto when KD got hurt. So he's only lost 2. He's only lost 2 finals, and he's won 4. So he's been to 6.
Yeah, and I see a lot of people are like, if he wins one more, I could put him in that top 5 category.
Yeah, because that's what especially this matchup this year, a lot of talk has been if he beats LeBron, because he's already got playoff record-wise, he got a better record against LeBron than LeBron does against him. Yeah. And they said if he wins another ring, so if he gets his 5th ring, do you put him over LeBron?
I don't put him over LeBron, but I definitely put him up there, high up there.
Yeah.
Because, I mean,
and I'm
you're
glad.
talking about impact of a game?
Yeah.
He is literally changing the way kids are playing. Like, we're trying to teach people not to shoot threes, and that's all kids want to shoot now.
Yeah, even bigs. And I'm glad you said that, his impact. Do you think he's top 10 all time now?
I do.
Okay.
I would put him up there. I mean, again, impact, greatest. They're already saying he's the greatest shooter. He's not even talking about retirement.
Yeah. I thought Reggie Miller and Larry Bird, growing up, those were the two greatest shooters I ever saw. But then when Ray Allen. But then when Steph Curry came along, not only is he still able to shoot like they are or like they did from the range they were shooting, but he's expanded the range to a level that I never thought would be possible, 35, 36 feet from the basket and shooting it with ease. And I'm talking about consistency. And then it's not like it's barely going in. It's like bottoms. Like it's just splash or it's a hard brick. So his ability to do that, like you say, to revolutionize like that aspect of the game to the point where now everybody wants to do it. You got Brook Lopez, 7 foot tall, shooting threes.
Right.
And I'm talking about shooting volume, not like, okay, he shoot one a game. He's shooting 5 to 10 threes a game.
Yeah.
You got to a point now where it's literally the game is being played 4 out, 1 in now because of Steph Curry.
So so I just looked up a stat. Okay. Steph Curry already has 4 championships. He's lost 2, so he's went to 6. I mean, what else does he have to prove? He's got to win another one, like 5. Like
that's what I say. To me, if he doesn't win another one, he's already proven to be one of the greatest to ever do it. I think he's top 10 no matter what. But if he wins a 5th one, it helps move him up the needle a little, move him up the ranking a little bit more. And of course, the talk would be that is he more of a GOAT than LeBron because of him having more rings? Because that's what a lot of people are going to point at. Is he more of a GOAT? So comment down below, on this topic too. Let me know what you think. If Steph Curry wins another ring, does he move up over LeBron?
Then you got to put him in the MJ conversation because a lot of people have him over MJ. I do not, just for the record.
Yes, I agree.
But then you're talking about, and I wouldn't put Steph above Michael Jordan. Personally, I wouldn't. But
yeah, and I don't think you really can have a conversation combined. I can tell people, I think the conversation with Michael and LeBron is a hard conversation. I feel like you should have that more about Michael and Kobe, because I feel like they're the same type of player. LeBron is more of a Magic Johnson type player.
Yeah.
So
I can see that.
It's hard to compare the two, but then like I always tell people, yeah, LeBron's played 20 consecutive years. He should have all the stats he has. But to me, Michael did more in less time. That's why I put him over LeBron. It's not even about the rings.
For me.
It's not about the ring. It's about impact, in the NBA and globally.
Yeah.
LeBron, Kobe, all these players don't exist if Michael Jordan never graced the NBA. Matter of fact, the NBA was a failing business before Michael Jordan came around. Nike was failing before Michael came around. He saved everybody. So that's why, to me, it's bigger than just him putting the ball in the hole and averaging 30 points a game like nobody else has ever done. All of the personal accolades he had that nobody else has done. That's one thing, but the impact on the entire game of basketball that he's had, there's just nobody else that has that same impact. So that's why it's hard to put Steph up there. Even though his impact has been huge because he changed the jump shot.
Yeah.
And the way you do it and why you do it.
Absolutely.
But but that is true though. Would you put him up over Michael because he got 5 rings now?
I couldn't.
Because you don't put Kobe up there.
I'd have to think about it.
Because a lot of people don't put Kobe over him, and Kobe got 5 rings.
Yeah, I don't put.
And Kobe scored more baskets than LeBron. I mean, not than Michael. He's higher on the scoring list. I want to say right now, Michael's 5th on the scoring list.
A lot of people be upset with the debate over LeBron and Kobe.
Yeah, and I think that
should be a debate.
To me, that's a better debate. Kobe versus LeBron is a much better debate than Michael versus LeBron. I just don't think you can have that conversation. But with Kobe and LeBron, you could definitely have that conversation because they're right. To me, championships are in line. He's 4, he's 5. And then, like you said, you can break down the style. You can break down what you did on your impact of the game, what you did, how you led your team. I just feel like it's just a better conversation. So Let us know what y'all think down below about that.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah, I want to know how y'all feel about a Kobe and LeBron conversation.
Should I take this whole podcast to debate that?
All right, man. So, do you watch women's basketball much?
No, not as much as I've watched some.
You're missing out, bro. Because the women's NCAA championship, March Madness is way better than the men's. I'm saying that now. The women's was way better than the men's.
No, I agree with that.
Because I got some people like asking me, "Hey man, who ended up winning the men's championship?" Right. I say UConn. Oh, I ain't even know UConn won. Mm-hmm. But I asked them about women. Oh yeah, LSU won. Like everybody.
Well, that's also because LSU had a little bit of drama at the end of it.
Yeah, they did.
With what's her name talking about the president's wife and all that stuff. We won't go there. But there was more spotlight because of one person.
Yeah, there was. I agree with you on that. And then now they just loaded up. They went and got 2 transfers. Van Length from Louisville. Sorry if I'm messing your name up. But she transferred. And then they had another girl from DePaul transfer. She like #1 scoring big in the country.
They got to be favorites.
Oh, of course. I mean, South Carolina's still going to be up there. Yeah, I think they lost a lot. They lost a lot, but South Carolina,
UConn's getting what's her name back? She tore something.
Yeah, I think it was her. I don't know if it was that.
It was ACL, but
I don't know what it was. But yeah, they getting her back, so that will, UConn will be back up there, like they always are. But yeah, I think LSU definitely be the favorites coming in for that. But the reason why I asked you about women's basketball is because Brittany Garner is back.
Yep.
And she's practicing with the Mercury. Got a new look. She cut her dreads off. Got a new look, and just. What do you think her impact being back in the WNBA is going to be versus her not being in there?
I know the Aces are going to have a harder time winning the championship this year.
Yeah.
As good as they are.
Yeah. Because they got a squad. The Aces got a squad.
Yeah, I was a big fan watching. I did watch a few of those games last year. So.
Okay. But I thought it was good to see her back playing, especially with everything she went through with the whole Russia thing. And she's already said she's never going back over there to play basketball unless she's playing with the USA team, which I agree with that. And, it's just a lesson learned, man. When you go to these other countries, they don't live the same way we do. They don't have the same laws. They don't react to your celebrity like we do. Over there, no, you broke a law, you broke a law.
Yeah.
That's just what they do. But I'm glad everything got resolved. She got brought home, and I'm excited to see her back in. I see like she bulked on a little weight now, so she look a little bigger. So I want to see what she does, and hopefully, the Mercury can have a good year, because I know, they missed her not having her down there in the middle. So I'm curious to see how well she bounced back and play this year after being off a whole year like she was.
Well, it's good for the WNBA in general, because I mean, you take a superstar away from any sport, it has a negative impact. That's like taking Candace Parker away from the WNBA.
Yeah, exactly. Because when she retires, the NBA gonna take a big hit.
Yeah,
it's like Sue Bird retires. It's a big hit to.
You need those.
You need those names. Diana Taurasi. I think she's got one last year.
That's gonna suck.
That's gonna suck when she leaves. So but the good thing about it, they're in a good spot. They got a lot of great young, talented. They're growing. Yep. They're finally starting to get the respect as a pro league that they've always, in my mind, has had from me. Because to be able to play the game and not dunk and do the stuff the men do, but still make it exciting is hard. And they've done that. And now they got a lot of girls now in college and in the pros starting to dunk the ball. So now they're not doing what the men do, but still to see a woman jump up there and dunk a ball, that's pretty impressive.
I think it just sucks in general. Women don't have a lot of outlets to go to softball.
Yeah.
Where do you go when you're done playing college?
Yeah. Which I think somebody needs to come out with a professional softball league at this point. One of these baseball, the MLB, they need to come out with a softball league. So MLB, if you're watching, man, come up with a softball league for these women, because these, like you say, not even just that, volleyball. Where do you go after volleyball? There's no outlet.
There's not really much for men or women.
But I'm just saying, like that sport.
Even soccer though too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They don't have a professional women's league. They got a men's league, but not a women's league.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if you don't make it U.S.
So they need to have more outlets. Even like gymnastics, like women's gymnastics. Like unless you make the Olympics team, where do you go from there?
Yeah,
because there's not no professional league.
CrossFit, that's about it.
Exactly. So there's not no professional. So I would be happy to see, like you say, there be a transitional.
They need to get more for the.
Yeah, because even like you got lacrosse now. Lacrosse got a professional league.
Yep.
all these other sports have professional leagues. These women need to have an outlet to go to.
I agree.
So, but I'm excited to see her back. She looks good.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see the season starts next month. So I can't wait to see what the Mercury do.
I'm curious to see what the Aces head coach Hammond does, because you know how they were talking about her getting a coaching spot in the NBA.
Yeah.
So dismissing it.
Yeah. So and don't get me wrong. They won last year. So now coming back, of course, they're gonna be the favorites, especially with picking up Candace Parker. They're gonna be the favorites.
They're gonna be.
So, but don't sleep on New York Liberty. They're gonna be good too. So I'm excited. Like I said, women's basketball is gonna be real good this year. So I'm excited to see what they're gonna do. All right. So have you heard about this story with Luka? So there was a mass shooting in Serbia, and I think 8 young kids got killed. Which hate to hear that. Of course, anytime you hear children being killed, in a mass shooting is horrible. But I thought it was the reason I brought Luka, because I thought it was big on him to come out and say he's going to pay for all the funerals of those families.
Yeah, I didn't hear that until you sent that to me, and I was impressed.
Yeah.
Because it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, man, because, especially over here in the U.S., we deal with mass shootings a lot. And to hear in other countries it's happening, it just sucks, man, because, life is precious enough.
Absolutely.
And especially when you talk about children, you got kids. And I don't have kids. John has a son. So I know for y'all, to have your children being lost in that matter would suck.
It's unimaginable.
You know what I'm saying? So, I thought I was just real big on him, and I wanted to shout him out and show love to him for coming up, stepping up and doing that for those families, and giving them, I guess, some form of peace, knowing that they don't have to worry about the cost of a funeral.
Yeah.
So, and I just hope and pray that, people can just start, showing more love to each other, especially the babies, because, you hate to see that every time.
Yeah.
Hate to see it every time. So, well, man, Ant, that's going to wrap this episode up, man. You did another phenomenal job.
I appreciate
stepping up and being with us, man. Like I say, next week, when my boy Ty come back, man, you got to come on now.
Maybe we'll see 3 of us.
Yeah, you got to come on. What you think, John? So, as always, man, we want to thank y'all for watching. Like I said, if you watch us on Facebook, make sure you follow and like the page. If you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Follow us on here. Make sure that we help grow our platform. Comment down below. Let us know what you thought about the episode. And, of course, we'll do our best to implement it on the next show. But other than that, man, follow us on all the other social media platforms, too, as well. Help us grow on there. But until next time, as always, thank y'all, and we'll see y'all on the next one.
All right, guys. Peace out.